movie that came out a couple of weeks ago, and I finally got around to seeing it. I'm not sure how many of you have done so. It's called The Outfit, and it's rated MA, 105 minutes. Now, the pedigree is really, really strong because the people behind this, or at least a person behind it, Graham Moore, who's the writer, he did the Imitation Game, and he's also, in this case, the director of The Outfit. It's a deceptively clever period crime drama. I reckon I'd best describe it as a slow burn mesmerizer. And it's set in Chicago in 1956. All of the action takes place at the premises of a bespoke tailor. His name is Leonard, played by Mark Rylance. What a fine actor he is. Well-spoken, nondescript British, what he calls cutter, right? He cuts up the cloth, who takes great pride and pleasure in his work. His narrative, this is Leonard's narrative about what goes into making a suit, underlines the piece. So you learn more about suit making than you probably even thought you needed to know. But there you go. Rolls of fabric, of tape, chalk, cutter's shears, they are prominent throughout. The shop also employs a receptionist called Mabel, played by Zoe Deutsch, who dreams of travelling to Europe. While she and Leonard go about their business, the place is actually a front for Irish mob boss Roy Boyle, played by Simon Russell Beale. He uses the premises as a stash house for dirty money. Boyle's son Richie, played by Dylan O'Brien, and his chief enforcer Francis, Johnny Flynn, visit the shop daily. Richard makes it clear he's nonplussed that he has to play second fiddle to Francis, who once put his life on the line for Richie's father, the mob boss, the Irish mob boss, Roy Boyle. One day, you've got Richie and Francis making their way into the place in desperation because Richie's just been shot in the abdomen. And it's only some deft craftsmanship from the store tailor, Leonard, that helps actually save him. Mind you, it's all downhill thereafter, given that there's a stool pigeon in their midst who's actually ratted them out. Behind the goings-on is actually a turf war, but the primary focus is on the tailor and, to a lesser extent, the receptionist, whose lives are on the line. And it is a really whip-smart script by Graham Moore and Jonathan McLean. It's got a really minimalistic setting. I actually had this feeling, again, it's like a play. You could see the action unfolding on stage. Much of the credit, though, in terms of the movie's success, lies in this measured performance by Mark Rylance as the unflappable cutter. Leonard's ability to remain calm under pressure and to read people and delicate situations is what elevates the outfit above the ordinary. And I thought that Rylance displayed spectacular restraint inhabiting Leonard's razor-sharp mind. I also appreciated the feistiness in Zoe Deutsch. She comes across as a character with much life to live. Leonard is someone who's been there and done that. Which of you have actually seen The Outfit, Peter?
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, so did you? I thought it was, you have to stick with it, but if you stick with it, you get a lot out of it.
It is a very clever film which sort of mimics some of those British, and it was shot in Britain actually, even though it's set in Chicago, mimics a lot of those 40s and 50s crime dramas from England, from the UK. And this one does it very cleverly because, as you say quite rightly, it's very well written and has a number of plot twists which perhaps one too many, but that I won't do any spoilers there, but is very clever in terms of its approach to what each of the characters is going to do. And it's so interesting to see Simon Russell Beale playing a gangster after playing Churchill and other sorts of characters in other films.
Versatility, yes, indeed.
Exactly.
No, it's good. Have any of the others of you seen The Outfit?
I've seen it.
Yeah, so Greg, your views?
Yeah, what you said there, Alex, is right. It's very theatrical in the staging with that one setting, basically the minimalist tailor shop there and the small cast there. But the tension gradually develops there as the situation spirals out of control there. And it becomes a sort of battle of wits between Leonard, the boss man, Boyle, and the gangsters there. And at play is a lot of dynamics going on in the background there. I thought it made good use of the production design there and the cinematography there. And Mark Rylance, as you so rightly pointed out, is superb in the role there. He's got this low-key, understated style there that works effectively. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and even though it's very theatrical, you can imagine this being turned into a stage play quite easily. It's still very good. The claustrophobic tension actually works in its favour here.
Oh, very much so, and no question about that. I mean, as Francis, Johnny Flynn is quite mercenary. Dylan O'Brien, playing opposite him as Richie, is a real hothead, and he's still wet behind the ears. Nothing as it first appears in the outfit. I mean, that's the part of this movie. I reckon we're all the better off for that fact, because you've got this series of spectacular reveals late in the piece that really sets the cat amongst the pigeons. Now, Peter, you said it was a little bit too much. You thought it was twist upon twist upon twist at the end. That they overdid it, did you think?
Just a little bit for me, because there's one twist in the story very late in the piece,
yes,
which you really do have to suspend disbelief a little bit, even though the previous twists seemed to fit into the storyline quite comfortably. But it still didn't detract for me the quality of the writing and of the cleverness of the storyline.
So hang on, you don't say suspend disbelief, you suspend belief, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose you can suspend belief and disbelief at the same time.
I agree with you, though. There's much to appreciate and savour in this picture if you stick with it. Dave, did you see it or not?
Yeah, I have, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love dialogue-driven films, and this is another COVID film. It's one of those films where a screenwriter and director sat down and said, well, how do you shoot a gangster film when you're restricted to where you can film? So you just restrict it to one setting and limited cast on set. And again, it works so well. I don't know why more filmmakers haven't done this over the years. One of my favourite films is actually a film from the 80s called The Ice House, that was just two people in a room for the entire film. And it works so well if you've got a good screenwriter on board. And that's exactly what happens here. You feel like you're watching a theatre production. The screenplay is exceptional, and the actors rise to the challenge. If you give most modern-day actors a good script, you can make them look good even if they're a bad actor. So this really, really works really well, and I really loved it.
Yeah, and I agree with you, as we've talked many times before. If you've got a good writer or a great writer, boy, what a head start you've got. So, score out of 10, Dave, for the outfit.
I'm going to give it 8 out of 10.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Peter?
I really liked also the title, The Outfit, because it
yes.
has a number of meanings attached to
Yeah.
it. Yeah, very clever film. I liked it, 7 out of 10.
And Greg?
Yeah, not to be confused with the 1973 film that starred Robert Duvall.
That's right.
But yeah, no, I quite enjoyed it too. There's a touch of Tarantino to this too, I thought, sometimes, especially with the standoffs that happen quite frequently in the film there. But I'll give it 7 to 7.5.
Okay, so we're in similar territory. It's MA rated 105 minutes. The Outfit.